Alright, on this segment, I'll be teaching people how to cut waistcoat. A shawl lapel waistcoat. That's a half shawl lapel waistcoat. First thing you do is take your borderline, or yes, my border or your reference line. So this is your reference line. Your reference line. Make sure your reference line. Try as much as possible your reference line is straight. So already this part is already straight because that's a folding. Meanwhile, if you observe, I've already folded this material into two parts. So the next thing to do is to take the height of the waistcoat. We are using for this waistcoat, we are using 23 for the length and 36 for the body. So 23 for the length. So from here, 23, you add 1 inch for the folding and 1 which is 24. So you roll out 24. Then you roll out, measure another 4 inch extra upward, or 3 inch or thereabout. 4 inch is better. So you measure another 4 inch. But I don't have enough material, so I'll be using 3.5 for the upper parts of this waistcoat. So you first of all you get your bust frame, which is 24, then 23 then. So the next thing you do is you roll out the line. You roll it out. So the next thing to do is to take the shoulder measurement. Meanwhile, before the shoulder measurement, you take shoulder measurement. The shoulder measurement for this work is 17. So 17 divided by 2, you get 8.5. This is your 8.5. Now press your calculator if you don't understand. So that's 8.5. You put it, start from your reference line. Or better still, since you are doing a shawl lapel, sorry I made the mistake. Since you are doing a shawl lapel, it depends on how wide you want the shawl lapel to be, or the lapel to be. For me, I'll be using 2 inch, 2.5 inch rather, for the shawl lapel. You measure your 2.5 inch. Measure your 2.5 inch. Measure your 2.5 inch, then you roll it out. So from this part now, you measure your shoulder. Your shoulder, which is your shoulder is 17. So divided by 2, will give you 8. So from here, remember this is your reference line, and this for your lapel. So you get your 6.5. So your 8.5, which is 17. You mark it and half downward. So this is your shoulder line. So the next thing to do is that you step down, you come down by 3 inch. You capture a 3 inch. You come down by 3 inch. Come down by 3 inch. That's for the shoulder slope. So you take the shoulder slope to this part of it. So there's your 3 inch. So the person's what's it called? The bust of the person, or the bust of the person is we're using 36. So 36 divided by 4 rather, you get 36 divided by 4. You get 9. 36 divided by 4, you get 9 minus 2 from the measurement, which is 36 divided by 2. Minus 2 or minus 1, and to do on the safer side, minus 2 or you minus 1 or minus 2, but you minus 1.5 or you minus 2, but most times I use 2 now for that, to get that proper fitness for the cloth. So I'm using 2, which is 1.5, which is 7.5. So this marking, this is where you measure out your what's it called, the chest. So the chest now from here will not be 9, which is 36. Then plus 2.5. 9 plus 2.5, that to be 11.5. You get. I will explain this how we get that one. And that one now is for the allowance, the that allowance, the everything that has to do with allowance. So we are using 2.5. We measure 2.5 out. So this is your armhole and this is your belly length. So the next thing to do is that you measure this 11.5. You come down also there. 11.5. Then draw the length. You divide the shoulder, the armhole into 2, which is about 7.5. Which is numerically, if you divide 7.5 into 2, it will give you 3 half. That's like 3.75, which is 3.75. Then you come in by 1 inch. You come in by 1 inch. Come in by 1 inch here also. Then you join this line to this line. Join this line to this line, then this line, this point to this point rather, with a line. So this is your armhole. While from this part now, you measure 3 inch inward. This for the neck, 3 inch inward. Look at, then 3 inch downward. So this is for the neck and everything. Then for the what we call for the shaping, there's no particular measurement for it, but normally I use 1 inch from this part here. 1 inch here. Then for here, I come up by since here is since here is 2.5, so most time I come up by 2.5 also. Then I go in by 2.5 also. Then for the lapel depth, there's no what's it called? There's no specific measurement for it, but it depends on how deep you want your neck to be deep, or how small or deep, but depending on the buttons you're using. Since you're using 4-inch buttons for each one, maybe you're using 4-inch per one. So let's say you're using 3 buttons for you. We're using this 4, this 4. So from here to here, 1, 2, 3. This is for 3 button marker. Then from here you can take your lapel or your neck cutting. So what I'll do now is that I'll just use the depth of this armhole, or rather, I'll use this armhole as my depth for this particular job. So this is the line, this is the what's called the armhole depth. Now let's measure, confirm the. So from here to here is about 10.75. Then from here to here is about same 15.75 or thereabout. So the next we do next is that from here to here is 3. So you join this 3 line to this particular place. Okay. Then from here now, this is where you get your this 2.5. Come here, you measure 2. This 2.5, come here, you measure 2.5 also, or 2 rather. Let's see, this is like 2.5. So you just try to draw a perfect curve. Remember, we have this extra 4-inch upward here. So this is how to draft out Then we scoot. After that, we scoot. It's as easy as this. Yeah. Easy as that. The next thing to do is to cut it out. So this line, join this line to this line here. Come down like so. So we are throwing this place off. Then for the darts, that is usually okay for me. This is the midpoint of the clothes. So you find the midpoint, which is about 5/4, that's 5.75. That's for this is the dart line. The pocket will be somewhere this place here. This is the pocket. Then if you want chest pocket, most times suits or most times waistcoat don't use don't use chest pocket, so just cut out. After everything, you can as well. We are using about 4 buttons here, or 3 buttons rather. We're using 3 buttons on this job. So you can trim this part now. Okay, that's definitely cut out. Definitely, we're cutting this dart like this. You cut this dart, but when cutting your dart, don't ensure that you don't cut it to this, as in don't finish everything. Okay, always leave a little, at least ½ inch on this part, so you can as well get your perfect line. Okay, so that being said, these are to drag the front block of your waistcoat. Alright, to cut your what's it called, your facing for the lapel, that is this is the cloth normally, and this is your facing. This is the lapel rather. So cut your facing lapel, so whenever you flip it over, you have the same this thing. You place this, remember this thing is I folded the 2 sides, it's on 2 fold. You get it? So what you do is that you see this pinpoint here, it should be above it. Let's go to the other. Walk light. But you're the video, go back so enjoy. The major reason for this back and front is that the major problem for this back and forth in this arrangement of material is that the material is not that much, as in not sufficient material from the back here. So just I need to arrange it properly so that it will fit properly and make sure that we don't end up cutting the wrong side or making a very terrible mistake while cutting. Let's see if we can manage this material. Alright, so anyway, finally we've been able to sort out the material. So what to do now is to cut. You cut exactly. Just make it straight. Just straighten this part. And this is your facing for the lapel, or rather for the front block. So if I can get 1,000 followers or 1,000 likes, I'll show you full details on how to sew and from start to finish. For now, we call it a day. Please like, follow, share, and comment.
God bless you. Get your nails.